What is up, guys? Welcome to the Sovereign Life Podcast. My name is Dillon Lowe, INBA, PNBA Pro, owner and founder of Sovereign Lifestyle. We're here with James, INBA, PNBA Men's Physique Pro, and one of the owners of Sovereign Lifestyle. And Blake, same thing, INBA, PNBA Men's Physique Pro, natural Olympian now. So that's pretty
Heyo.
sick. And one of our business partners in Sovereign Lifestyle. But guys, today we have a really, really cool topic that I am a big advocate of, especially over the last little bit. To give you guys some context, we run a group of 150 natural bodybuilders. And one of the big concepts that we've been really hitting on over the last little bit is motivation versus discipline versus commitment. And one of the things that I'm like really, really, one of the things that has helped me so much over the last year is like, I'm a very driven and committed individual. Like I commit to things that sometimes I'm like, dude, why did I do that? You know what I mean? I get down the path and start, it's a lot. So I'm a very ambitious person. I commit to a lot of things. And when I look back over the last 12 months, over 2025, a few of the things that I committed to was, one, we 3x'd the size of Sovereign Lifestyle, which was a lot. Two, I committed to competing in Japan, which was my first international show ever. And then three, I committed to placing top 5 in Natural Olympia as a men's physique competitor, which Natural Olympia was in November. And the show in Japan was in May, which means that I was going to be on prep for 11 months out of the year while building a business, newly married, all of this stuff. And we moved during that time. It was hectic. But anyways, I was kind of looking back on what are the things that helped me to keep moving forward during those times that I felt like I was looking at a mountain and I had no idea like how I was going to get to the top, because it gets really overwhelming. And it comes back to this idea of motivation versus discipline versus commitment. And for me, like how I said that I'm a very committed individual is just, I think, understanding the differences between those three concepts, right? Motivation is fleeting, kind of comes and goes. It's really easy to be motivated, but it's also really easy to lose motivation. Discipline is, it's stronger than motivation. However, it's not the full equation, right? Like you can be a very disciplined person. You can lone wolf and white knuckle yourself through all of these hard situations. And, maybe you'll get somewhere. Like it will take you places. But the best ideal scenario is commitment, right? And commitment is more like it's similar to discipline, but with people. Like you're leaning on your relationships a lot more and building the systems around your discipline, right? So not only am I making a promise to myself that I'm going to compete or I'm going to, do whatever the goal is, but I'm bringing people into that goal and having them help me to achieve that, right? And so that was one of the biggest things for me looking back on 2025 was like, dude, there were times where I felt like there was no way I was going to make it. Like there were times that I felt like I wanted to back out. I wanted to, do whatever. And discipline just wasn't getting me there. And so this idea of motivation versus discipline versus commitment is extremely, extremely, extremely powerful if you apply it in the right way, because essentially you can set a vision, you can set a goal. And once you have people to help support you in that goal, and then you give it, 11, 12 months, you look back, like you will be amazed at what you can achieve. So.
Yeah, I love that. Well, to go back kind of on that, like bringing people into the fold, like for me, I've been competing for, years now, like got the pro card. We competed at the Olympia last year. And what I found is motivation, because I did the same prep you did last year. We did most of the same shows.
And then
Japan, all the stuff, 11 months. And we've talked about it. The same thing for you. Motivation faded about 4, 6 weeks.
Motivation was gone.
Yeah.
We started in January. Motivation was gone by like March.
Yeah, but maybe earlier. I might have been sooner than that. But what's crazy is, we've done it long enough that we have the discipline to get us going. But when it comes to like that commitment, you're obviously my coach, but we were also doing it together. So like getting further in, we got to like, when we were doing like Zeus and Team USA. So where it's like September-ish, we've been on prep for like a long time at this point, like that time of year. And dude, even the discipline at that point, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I have the discipline to keep going and I could white knuckle this, but the fact that we were doing it together was that like thing that like, he's not stopping. I'm not stopping. You know what I mean? Like it. And so that pushed me forward way further than I would have ever been able to get on my own, even with, I would consider myself a very disciplined person. And like, but I haven't branched off into that commitment side of things as much. Cause I was always the guy like, oh, you know, I can do it myself. I can white knuckle it, but relying on people has gotten me so much further and much less stress too with it, which is kind of interesting. But what's been your experience with it?
Yeah. Motivation, discipline, commitment. Honestly, think about it, like there's levels to this.
Yeah.
Right. When I think about the three, motivation is very emotional. Comes and goes. It's hot and it's cold, right? Like ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Discipline though is more on the mental side of things. Right? You're like, well, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat these meals. Like I'm not going to think about it. Like mentally, I'm locked in. This is what I'm doing. Right? But then commitment, that's the identity part. Right? That's where you're changing who you are and who you're becoming because you're committed to this. Right? So when the going gets tough, right? Like motivation is going to be gone. Discipline will be like, oh, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to slack off. I'm going to do this. But then the highest level of you is the committed you, right? And you say, hey, I committed to this thing in 4 months from now. So I'm going to do it. There's not a matter of if or whatever. It's how am I going to do it, right? And I'm getting it done. And so you get rid of the excuses and things. But it's also understand it throughout the process, like you want motivation to come and go, right? When you see those new lines when you're posing, you're like, that gets me fired up, right? Like that's cool. And things like that. There's going to be days where your motivation's low and you're like, who am I? Why am I even doing this? Like, what's the real purpose and who I'm becoming, right? And then discipline takes over, right? It's like, even though I'm not mentally and emotionally there, it's like, I still do these things. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to check every box and I'll figure it out later, right? So there's levels to it. They all play, they're all intertwined. But once you really fully commit to a goal, you're committing to a higher level of you. Yep. Right. And so nothing's going to stop you from getting to where you're going because that's how you now see yourself and you're going to get there.
Yeah. And to switch into coach mode, right? Because this is a thing that Blake and I talk about this a lot because it's almost like we've coached a lot of guys, like hundreds, maybe thousands of guys into shows at this point. And I almost start their prep. This is a bad thing. Like if you clip this and look at it on like just this, it sounds bad. But I almost start their prep with the mentality of this guy's going to quit, right? And what's interesting now that we're talking about motivation, discipline, and commitment, is the interesting thing. And we always talk about the text we get. Yeah, it's like 4 to 8 weeks out. Yeah. Every time you get a text, I don't know if I can do this, you know? And dude, we're so like mentally prepared for that. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, like, yeah. Anyways, we're so mentally prepared for that because what it is discipline begins to die and commitment begins to take over. And the one thing that like the thing you have to realize about discipline is it's highly ego driven, whereas commitment, you are forced to drop your ego and rely on other people, right? And at that point within a bodybuilder, the level of stress or the pain of the current situation is so bad that they have to either drop their ego and move forward, or they hold on to their ego and they quit, you know? And so it's a really hard part as a coach to be like, dude, I know exactly where you're at. Yeah. And trust me, like you have two options right here. You either listen to what I say or you go into your hole and quit, you know, like that's kind of the reality of the situation. And so, anyways, so yeah, to look at this from a coach's perspective, like we deal with this all the time, you know, and it's really cool to like finally put it into words that way. But like, dude, you can totally anticipate the transition between the few.
And like what you're talking about, the perspective that they're going to quit. It's not that they're going to quit. It's that there's going to be a breaking point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we've talked about.
Well, and it's like,
we have our breaking points.
and it's from it's with good intentions. Like this guy's going to break, and when he breaks, I'm going to be there for him.
You're anticipating it.
Yeah, because he trusted me to start this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So but that's going to create a breakthrough. But it's either going to make or break you. That's how it is. You're either going to choose one way or you're going to choose the other. One of them leads to stage and accomplishing your dreams, your goals, all the other things. The other one leads to regression, staying in the same spot, which, like we've talked about before, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. But it comes from a place of love that we know that you're going to break at some point.
If you're on prep,
we break. Like,
if you're on prep, just know I'm coming for you.
Yeah, just know, dude, I broke in September. Like, it took a little longer, but I still broke. So it still happens. But
I mean, I think too, right, is you understand, like, in this breaking point or whatever keeps people from not giving up when you get to that breaking point. Discipline is so many times like an individual battle.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get up. No one's seeing me get up in the morning. No one's seeing me make my meals, but like, this is what I do, right? Like, I'm doing this, but it's easy to give up on that because we let ourselves down all the time, right? It's kind of hard, sad.
Well, it's like micro commitments too.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the funny thing is like the lone wolf that we keep talking about. Dude, I hear it all the time. I'm not going to tell anyone I'm going to do a show. Then I'm going to show up and stomp everyone. And it's like, dude, I'm speaking directly to your ego, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because you're afraid to even tell people. You're afraid to post. You're afraid to do anything that shows people that you're committed to a show because you know that when it gets hard, you're going to quit. You know that. And you're saying, like, you wear it as this bag. Out. Yeah, you wear it as this like badge of honor. But the reality of the situation is that you're so afraid of committing to something bigger than your ego that, like, you're just going to fall. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's one of the funny things that, like, dude, I hear this all the time from guys. But I pinpoint that. Like, just know if you've told me that too. I'm like, ego.
Yeah, we got to overcome that. I got to break that down in these next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But commitment is that, hey, I'm committing to you as my coach. I'm committing to this other person, and I don't want to let you down, right? So many times in my life, I've let myself down, right? Kind of self-sabotage. I talk myself out of it. I talk myself around it, right? And it's like I kind of smooth it over, and I stop whatever commitment I made to myself, right? But it's another thing to say, hey, if I don't do this, I'm letting you down now, and I don't want to let you down.
That's way more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you staked, like you tell your wife, your kids, dude, your kids are coming to you like, oh, I can't wait to see you on stage, or whatever the situation is, your coach, right, your friends, and you try to keep them out of the equation, bro. That's weak.
Yeah.
Like, it's way more powerful to be like, dude, I got like so many people depending on me. Like, I'm going to freaking show up and dominate, not for me, for them,
Love that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one of my favorite things as a coach that I see all the time. I get a lot of guys, and just so you guys know, this is what makes my best competitors too. The ones that end up turning into a pro, like do all the things, not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time. They have the mentality, and it's my favorite thing to hear as a coach because it means that I've done my job and we've gotten past that point. It's when someone says, Coach, I'm gonna make you proud. Coach, I'm gonna do good for the team. Like, all these things, it shows me we've pushed past that ego. But also as a coach, it is extremely gratifying because it shows me that I am somebody that they can come to for help and support, and that I'm actually fulfilling like my purpose. Like, it gives me a lot of purpose. Yeah. So I love that when someone's like, oh, I'm going to make you proud, because they have somebody that they want to make proud. You know what I mean? It's not just, like we said, just white-knuckling, like doing it because, like, I want to show everyone. You know what I mean? No, it's because I want to make people proud, which is cool.
Yeah, like motivation, we see it so many times on, say, like on calls with guys at the very beginning. Like, they're all fired up, and it's like, great. That motivation is to help you take that first step, right? And we're going to create the discipline. But if you're not ready to lock in at a higher level, when the going gets tough, you're going to stop.
Dude, it fades by the end of the call.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right. Yeah. But motivation gets them on the call with you. Yeah. And that's awesome. So it's like, great. Right? And so you're going to find these bouts throughout an 11-month prep or a 20-week prep, right, where motivation is high. You read a book, you listen to a podcast, like, I'm so fired up, right? And like, sick, ride that wave while it's there. But the wave is going to hit the beach, it's going to wash away, and then what are you going to do? right? You're going to keep on going, or you say, well, my wave's gone, so I'm just going to stay here till the next one. It's like, no, you keep on moving forward and eventually find another wave. And like when you ride that wave, you get a really cool high, and that's awesome. But if that's the only time you're like, you're committing to moving forward, you're going to be so stuck and so left behind.
Yeah.
It's kind of like working out when you're listening to music. You know how like everyone's done this. If you go to the gym consistently, eventually you're going to run out of music to listen to. Like it's not getting you as hyped as it used to.
Yeah.
It's not motivating you for every set like it used to. And then eventually it's the discipline. And then eventually like your discipline's great. You're there at the gym. But if you want the best workout you could possibly have, dude, you get a good workout partner that's there to hold you accountable.
Committing to them.
That you're committing to. You're there for each other. You're pushing each other. It's the same thing. Like, so, and there's only so many motivational YouTube videos that you can listen to.
Well, dude, and it's like the energy versus like the logic of the situation too. Like that's one thing that I've, like you can, I don't know, we're guys, we like to logic ourselves into like this freaking box where we're like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to be motivated. I'm going to, and it goes back to that, like what I said earlier, where you get in the room with the right person and they'll solve a problem that you've been struggling with for the last 2 years in 5 minutes, right? And that's one of the biggest things at Sovereign Lifestyle that's really cool as it's taken shape is the fact that we're seeing these guys become friends outside of the gym. You know, we're seeing like this brand that like obviously they're committing to the brand, but they're also like becoming friends. And now they have this support system where they can go and like actually talk to people that are like-minded, you know? And so it's that like, you know, like you see it all the time where these guys, like it begins with motivation. They have the discipline to show up. And then all of a sudden it transforms into this commitment of like, now they have their tribe, you know, and they're trying to like, not just keep up, but like, it's just how do I say it? It's almost like motivation comes back, you know, because of the energy of the groups that you associate with. And that's another thing that I've noticed is like the more people that I involve in my commitments, the more motivated I become. And it's kind of like, yeah, you don't rely on motivation, but like, I don't know, like it's just cool. It's motivating to be around people who are pushing you. And so it's huge. Yeah.
It's fulfilling those commitments lets you identify as a better version, higher version of yourself, right? That's ultimately what it is. It's are you committing to becoming the best you? Or are you just disciplining it to get through whatever, checking the boxes and going to bed at night, right? Like, which one are you truly chasing? And we're all chasing the highest life possible we can. Like, that's why we're Sovereign Lifestyle. That's our whole vision, our whole purpose is how do we become, right, the men that we need to be is because we make commitments, we follow through with the commitments, no questions asked. We know that's who we are. That's the standard that we set is the highest, best version of ourselves.
What's kind of funny is when we made these shirts for our Japan show that's in kanji that says Sovereign Lifestyle, if you were to translate the kanji on it, it means a higher lifestyle, which was not intentional, but it's kind of, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like what you're talking about there. That's sweet.
Yeah, kind of sick. I had to check with that first.
I've got a buddy that speaks Japanese, and he's like, "Well, it translates to a higher lifestyle."
Yeah, we had to get that approved by like because it's like one thing to have like the translation, but the slang that could be attached to it. So it was good that it worked out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
But anyways, yeah. So one of the biggest things that you guys will find moving forward is that, yes, motivation's great, but it comes and goes. Discipline will be there, but it wears with time. And commitment is the thing that like, it kind of solves everything else. Like once you have commitments that you have made, you are going to be disciplined and you will be more motivated by the people around you once you include more people in your commitments, which is really, really cool.
Trifecta.
Yeah. So it's like, it's the one thing that if you focus on it, like all the other problems kind of get solved. And that's one of the things that you have to really pay attention to when you're on prep, when you're building a company is like, you have to be able to look at the whole picture of what's going on and be like, hey, what's the one thing that I can do that eliminates the need for all the other stuff? Because I could do this 100 things today, but if I find the one needle mover and I actually focus on that, then everything else gets easier and it relieves so much stress, so much tension. And so my homework for today is, we talked about commitments in the last one.
Yeah.
So
they kind of have the homework.
Yeah. So you kind of have the homework, but in this one, I want you to find somebody that, I mean, I guess we talked about commitments. I don't want to like re-loop back into that, but, yeah, with that being said, like just identify those areas that you are relying on motivation and relying on self-discipline, and realize that that's probably just ego, being ego driven. And just think about like what you could commit to. Like find your group of people. Doesn't have to be a bodybuilding team, doesn't have to be like, anything, but like just think about that, right? And yeah, like start taking action and involving people in your discipline to change it into a commitment, which will solve everything else. So anyways, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, do all of the stuff. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of the stuff at DLowFlex. Blake.
Just Coach Blake Mill. Coach Blake Mill, all one word.
And then James. Hit me up at jhunt.fitness on the gram.
Cool. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.